Hi everyone, good evening. So guys, let's begin our class again with a positive note. So it's beautiful lines which you can see on your screen. When the day has ended, dare to feel as you have done your best. So guys, every day try to give your 100%. Be best at whatever you do, right? Because it's your inner conscious to whom you are answerable. So when you go to bed at night, your inner conscious must be satisfied. So if that is satisfied, you can achieve wonders. So guys, remember, dare to feel as you have done your best each and every day. So with this positive note, let's begin with the class. So guys, today we are going to cover overview of food contaminants and adulterants and their effect on human health. So again, FSSAI is clearly, it has mentioned that overview. You just need to have the basic knowledge of what are the contaminants, what are the adulterants, and what are the possible health effects these contaminants and adulterants can have on your health, right? So let's begin. So we'll talk up in detail about all these topics. So first of all, I'll be talking about food adulterants and their effect on the human health. So first of all, we'll talk about what are food adulterants and what are the foods in which these adulterants are added, and what the health effects it can have, detrimental health effects it can have on our body if we consume those adulterated food, right? Okay. So let's move ahead. So first of all, let's have a look on the food adulteration definition. So guys, this definition is as per FSSAI Act 2006. So this is the very first definition when you open up the for FSSAI Act 2006. So this would be the very first definition about the adulterants. So if you see food adulterants, it can be any material which is or could be employed for making the food unsafe, substandard, misbranded, or containing extraneous matter. So this is the definition of food adulterant. You need to remember actually this definition because FSSAI during the last exam, CBT 1 in 2019. So FSSAI directly asked these definitions. So if you see, the definition is very clear. So what are food adulterants? This can be any material which could be employed for making food unsafe, substandard, misbranded, and containing extraneous matter. So we'll learn about all these factors, all these definitions in detail when we cover the FSSAI Act. And also FSSAI Act has been covered extensively on my YouTube channel. So I would request all of you to visit my YouTube channel. Yesterday I had already shared the link. So please watch those videos. Almost 83 sections are covered out of 101 sections. So please go and watch them again and again and keep revising the FSSAI Act because that is very important topic. So moving ahead. So let's talk about the effects what these adulterants can have on our body. So if you see, these adulterants are very toxic and have very bad health effect, and they deprive nutrients which are required to maintain proper health, and it may cause intoxication or problems such as allergy in sensitized individuals. So guys, its effects are very clear. Some can have very lethal effect on our body, right? It can even be it can seriously injure our body. And second, it could deprive of us of important nutrients, because in food adulteration sometimes important nutrients are taken out from the food, and then the food which is given to eat, that has no nutrients in it. So if does not have any nutrients, then what's the use of eating that food, right? So that's a very basic thing. Then third point, it may cause intoxication or problems such as allergy. So it can also cause food allergies. You might have heard, like there are many food products, if you consume them, they could cause allergy, serious allergy to you. So adulterants are one of the causes which can lead to allergy. So moving ahead. So if you see FSSAI in their act, they have clearly mentioned, if any food vendor or any food manufacturer, if he is caught adding the adulterant, and that adulterant, if for example there's a milk, right, any milk product you can say, so in that milk product the manufacturer is using adulterated, say adulterated butter or adulterated ghee, right? So if that if any individual consumes that food and that adulterated ghee, it causes serious injury to the health. If it is causes serious injury, then the food vendor or the food manufacturer is liable to pay 10 lakh fine to FSSAI, and also the compensation to the individual who consumed that food. And also, if you see, if the adulterant found in the food is non-injurious to health, then the person has to pay, the food vendor or the food manufacturer has to pay 2 lakh fine. So guys, these are very, very important, these figures, in context with the food adulteration. And don't worry, these are part of actually the FSSAI Act. So these are the major things which you need to remember, because when you go on field tomorrow, right, when you join FSSAI, so these are the things you need to remember. You need not to remember, I mean, what are microbes and all those things, but you need to remember about the act, how you can charge that person if some adulterant is found, how much, what are the regulations, what's the fee, what's the punishment, what's the compensation given to the person to whom the injury has been caused by this adulterated food. So this is the main duty of a food safety officer. So guys, the FSSA Act is very, very important, and these figures, these numbers are very, very important. They can be directly asked in the exam, right? So now let's talk about the type of food adulteration. If you see, there are majorly the food adulteration are divided into two types, that is intentional and unintentional. So we'll read in detail what are intentional. If you, I mean, it's logical, right? Also, you can just make a wild guess what could be intentional. Intentional means if someone, any food manufacturer is intentionally adding any adulterant to the food, so that is intentional adulteration. If and unintentional is if it is coming from the food package, I mean, it's without the knowledge of the food manufacturer. It could be from the food package, or it could be from the nature. It could be from the next surroundings. For example, the food, the area where the food is prepared, if that food is unhygienic, I mean, that area is unhygienic, right? And the worker who are preparing those food, they do not maintain proper hygiene. So in those cases, that is the cases of unintentional adulteration. So these are the few of the examples. If you see, so intentional, if you see, if the milkman adds water to the milk, so that is intentional, right? I mean, he's trying to make profit out of that. So this is intentional. And also, if you see the second point, extraneous matter to the ground spices. So if you see earlier, right now, FSSAI has done a great job. Now, when you buy pulses, right, dal, when you buy pulses from the shop, they comes in properly packed proper packaging, right? So even they are polished, they are washed. So now the stones, small stones and extraneous matter, now these days, if you see, it's very, very minimal, or it's not at all present. So but earlier, when the people who buy these pulses or wheat or rice in open, I mean, those are not packed food, right? So those shopkeepers, they tend to add those stones, small stone or some small marble chips, just to increase the weight of the food to make their profits. But now FSSAI regulations are very, very strict. Now if you see, majority of the foods are being packed and sold in our superstores, be it our pulses, be it our, any soya bean, or be it any our beans, or I mean anything, right? So third, removal or substitution of the milk solids from the natural product. Yes, guys. Not only addition, if you see here, water is added in the milk. So here, extraneous matter, as I said, stones are added to the ground spices or our lentils, but also removal or substitution. For example, sometimes for example, milkman, they remove all the fat from the milk and they then sell you the milk. So that is means they have removed the important constituent of the milk, that is fat, or they substitute the milk with the uh, I mean, not natural, unnatural, right? Synthetic compounds. So that also falls in this category of intentional adulteration. So moving ahead, so if you see now the example of unintentional, I hope intentional is clear. So now unintentional adulteration, it includes inclusion of unwanted substances due to ignorance, carelessness, or lack of proper facility and hygiene during the processing. As I mentioned before, like unintentional adulteration, it can be manufacturer. I mean, their kitchen facilities are not proper, right? The workers who are working in that food manufacturing unit, they are not maintaining the proper hygiene. I mean, they are not washing hands properly whenever they go in and out of the food manufacturing facility, right? Uh, uh, they are not practicing those good practices, right? Good manufacturing practices which are supposed to be mandatory followed by these manufacturing units. So because of their carelessness, this could be the one of the reason. And also coming to the second point, spoilage of food by rodent and entry of dust and stones. So yeah, I mean, unintentionally food can also be spoiled by rodents, mice, and also even dust carries a lot of microbes, so those microbes also could spoil the food. And third is harmful residues from packaging material. Yes, so guys, don't forget, packaging material is very very important constituent of the food, because ultimately the food that we receive, it's in some of or the other form of the package, right? So FSSAI has proper guidelines for the packaging material as well. We will do this in detail when we talk about packaging material, smart packaging material, because now technology have evolved. So now packaging material will only tell you that the food is going to get spoiled, or if food is going to get spoiled, then packaging material will only protect the food from spoiling. So technology has so developed, but packaging is one of the major factor where due to unintentional adulteration can occur. Right, I hope it's clear, guys, till here. So please give me thumbs up if things are clear till here, so then we'll move ahead. Okay, thank you, guys, thank you for confirming. So now moving ahead, so now we'll talk about the major adulterants and their health effects on our body. So these food adulterants, I mean, these are very very food adulterants. Even you would have seen when you get raw food from the supermarket, be it vegetables or be it pulses, grams, or beans or whatever. And also you could relate it today. So now moving ahead, so if you see, so in this column we'll talk about the major adulterants which are being used, and then in that type of food and detrimental health effects they can have on our body. So if you see the adulterants, so the major adulterant like sand, stone, and marble chips, so they are being added to such foods like food grains, be it rice or be it wheat, and as I said, also to the pulses, right? Be it any kind of pulses. So majorly these adulterants, initially why they were added, they were intentionally added to increase the weight of the food. So in order to make the profit out of what the food is being sold, right? So the shopkeepers, they add such extraneous these adulterants, although they are not harmful as such, but if they are consumed on regular basis, they could damage the digestive system of the human being. So these are the very very basic adulterants which were added earlier, but as I said, I mean, FSSAI has evolved over the years. So now things have changed, right? So now FSSAI has proper regulations, and FSSAI has proper punishment system at place. So if anyone is caught adding such adulterants, so FSSAI can charge them, they can fine them, and if any individual gets hurt by such adulterants, so food manufacturer is also liable to pay the compensation to such individuals, right? So moving ahead, so now the next class, if you see, next class of adulterant is exhausted tea leaves or the sawdust. So this is basically added to the tea that we buy from the market, be it any, I mean, Brook Bond or Taj tea. So these are the famous brands, although they won't be doing this, but yeah, I mean, it's just an example. So what are exhausted tea leaves? So guys, do you remember yesterday we have learned about the active compounds? So every food has a particular bioactive compound. For example, if we talk about the clove, so clove have eugenol in that, right? Eugenol is one of the bioactive compound present in the clove. So similarly, if you see the tea leaves, so what these food manufacturer or the dealers in tea, so what they do is they extract all those, they extract all those important nutrients from the tea, right? So after extracting, then they sell this tea in the market. So that is known as exhausted tea leaves. I mean, the nutrient, the bioactive material which was present in the tea, that is lost, that is taken out. So now the thing that is sold in the market in the proper packaging is just the dead leaves, right? And also the sawdust. So this is majorly found in tea, and it could be very, very injurious to health. And in adverse cases, if someone is consuming such tea leaves regularly, it could cause cancer, right? So moving ahead. So next adulterant that is commonly found is artificially color foreign seeds. So guys, before going ahead, I would like to tell you there is a document by FSSAI which is known as DART, DART, that is detection of adulteration with rapid test. So that is also very, very important document. We'll talk about that as well. There are very, very basic tests which are given in that document. So you know those tests can be performed at house level, even at household. So I would suggest you guys to go through that DART book. It's very, very simple, and even you can try testing such you can try such test at your home. Those are very, very basic. So they would give you the basic idea whether the food is adulterant or not. So we'll cover that DART book in detail. Right. But yeah, I mean, that is related to the adulterant. So I thought I'll just mention you. Many of you might be knowing about the DART book of FSSAI. And if you don't know, no problem. I'll share the link with you. You can download it from that link today and just perform those experiments at home. So now moving ahead. Some of the adulterants, that is the artificial color, is added to the foreign seeds. So guys, if you see the black pepper, cumin seeds, mustard seeds, poppy seeds, so to compensate, I mean to increase the weight of these seeds. So what these adulterants, these food manufacturers does is they take some normal seeds from any tree, right? And they just add the artificial color. For example, for the black pepper, they would add the black color so that it looks like black pepper. Even in case of cumin seeds, jeera, so in case of cumin seed, they would take some seeds and they would color it in the form of cumin and they would add it to the food. So guys, I mean, they just do it with the motive of profit, right? So but they have no idea with their profit, the life of the individual, thousands of, I mean millions of individuals living in India are at stake. So if you see the health effects, so they are injurious to the health effect. I mean, they can have multiple effects, and they can debt India, not only in India but across the globe. Because I mean, the food manufacturers, they just look for their profits. They have nothing to do with the health of the consumer. Right. So I mean, that is why, the not only food adulterants, we also read about in the lecture we read about various health effects that these components can have. And also in previous lectures also we have read a lot about what are the chemicals, the preservatives that are added to the food, what effects they can have on our body. So these are the major reasons why cancer cases, why heart attack cases are on rise in India. So moving ahead, so the third type of adulterant that is majorly used is rancid oil, right? So rancid oil is nothing but when food is it's used for a longer time, or if it's kept in open, so the oxygen, it goes and bind to this oil and it makes it rancid. Rancid is nothing but oxygen molecule binds and it changes its property. So now the rancid oil, it has very, very pungent smell. I mean, it has very bad odor. It is not at all good for cooking. So this is once the oil becomes rancid, the food manufacturer does not throw such oil. They add it to the fresh lot of oil, they mix it in the fresh lot of oil, and they uh, supply it to the public. Majorly such activities, such things happens during when you go to street food vendors, right? When you go to some I mean the person who is selling the food on street. So majorly these guys, they are involved in such activities. So that is why even big restaurants for that matter, not only street vendors, even big restaurants. So when you eat samosas, right, or when you eat medu vadas, right, in South India, so once they have used that oil, so they keep using that oil again and again. Like FSSI has put a limit, it should not be used more than 3 times, but these vendors, in order to cut cost or to save the money, they keep using it again and again. So yeah, but I mean, now FSSAI has taken really good initiatives. For example, there's a RUCO initiative, RUCO. So FSSAI is, encouraging these food manufacturers to give such oil for manufacturing of biofuel. So we'll do that in detail. Now coming to the health effect. So if you see the oils, if you add the rancid oil, it destroys the vitamin A and E, which is present in the oil. So now vitamin A and E, these are the micronutrients. So if these are destroyed, our body is devoid of important micronutrients, and it further could lead to other major issues which are faced due to lack of these vitamins in our diet. So now moving ahead, next adulterant, if you see, so next adulterant is mineral oil. So guys, mineral oil is basically the uh, one of the residue of the petrochemical industry. So what these food adulterant for food manufacturers they does is they take this mineral oil and they mix it in edible oils and fats. So I mean, butter, or be it any fat, or even in black pepper, or even in ghee. So they add such minerals in this food. And petrochemicals, I mean, definitely these are cancerous, right? Petrochemicals, I mean, you use petrol in your car, not to drink or not to use in your food, right? But these guys, they you use that very cheap residue that is left after refining the petrol. So those mineral oils, they are used, and they are definitely cancerous. I mean, these are toxic compounds, although they are not used at such level, such high scale. But yeah, I mean, you need to be aware of this, right? What happens in the market. So now moving ahead, so next is exhaustive cloves and corn hairs. So guys, exhaustive cloves, as I said, in the case of uh, tea leaves, right? So similarly, in the cloves, as we read yesterday, so cloves have eugenol oil. Eugenol is a bioactive compound which is found in these cloves. So food manufacturers, what they does is they extract that important bio compound which is important for our health. They extract it, then they sell these exhaustive cloves in the market. So now it has zero benefit to our health. Even if you consume such cloves, exhaustive cloves, it's not going to improve your health, right? So I mean, yeah, so be aware whenever you buy cloves, make sure you, not only cloves, I mean, whatever you buy, make sure you buy it from an FSSAI registered unit, FSSAI registered food business, right? So now coming to the corn hairs. So similarly, if you see the corn hairs, if you have definitely you have eaten corn, so there are a lot of corn hairs. So those corn hairs are used as a replacement for saffron. So you all might be knowing that saffron is a very costly food ingredient. So now the food manufacturers, in order to make profits, instead of selling the original saffron, what they do is they take the corn hairs and they color it in the golden color, and they sell it as a saffron. So I mean, it's of no use, right? Saffron, normally it has many health benefits, and saffron is very costly. But when you sell the corn hairs as a saffron, they can make a lot of profit out of it. And similarly, it happens with cloves, it happens with chilies, it happens with cashews, right? And if you see the health effects, so these low quality standards, it health effects, I mean, it can have multiple health effects, although these might not have major health effects. But yeah, I mean, you are not getting the important nutrients which you were supposed to get. So now your body can, it can fall ill, you can fall sick very frequently. So these are the major issues which occur when you eat adulterant foods. I hope it's clear, guys. Just give me thumbs up if things are clear till here. If things are clear, just give me thumbs up. So we'll move ahead. I mean, these are the very basic chapters. I wanted to start with the basic topics so that you come in that cycle, right? So once you are in that cycle, you are in that pace of learning, you are aware of things, and you get to know things. So then we'll take up the difficult topics. So this is just warm up, guys. So warm up within this week. So once we are done with this topic, so the harder topics are going to come within coming weeks. So be ready for that. Thank you, guys. Thank you for confirming. So now moving ahead to the next adulterant. So next adulterant is pesticide residues. So guys, yeah, I mean pesticide residues, these are nothing but the poison. So these are used to kill the rodents or other pests which are present in open fields where the food is grown. So majority of the times these pesticide residues, they are carried over into our food. That is why your mother, you would have heard, and also it's a basic common knowledge that you should wash the food that you eat, right? Especially raw fruits, raw salad, right? So it must be properly washed, and if possible it should be washed with hot water. So there's a reason behind it, because these days a lot of pesticide residues are being used, a lot of chemicals are being used. So in order to remove those pesticide residue which might be present on the food, so they act as an adulterant, but they are unintentional. So they are, in order to remove them, so that is why we need to wash our food properly. Make sure next time whenever you grab an apple, so make sure to wash it properly to avoid yourself from the pesticide residues. Now talking about the health effects. So these can be poisonous, and these can also damage the liver or the kidney. Yes, guys, definitely. I mean, these are very, very dangerous to your health. So now moving ahead. So now let's talk about the another adulterant, that is chalk powder. So this is also one of the very basic uh, adulterant, but it's very, very important. I mean, you need to know, because we consume salt every day, right? So without salt, there is no taste to the food. So now these food manufacturers, what they do is they add this chalk powder. Chalk powder is nothing but it's a limestone, right? Powdered limestone. So they add this chalk powder to the salt, and if you consume that limestone, I mean limestone is really poisonous. So if you consume it, it poisons your body, and the ultimate effect that is seen is it's on your liver and kidney, and it could also lead to cancer if consumed daily. I mean, salt is consumed daily, there is no brainer in that. But if consumed over a longer period of time, it could damage your liver and kidney completely. So moving ahead, next adulterant is cassia bark. So guys, cinnamon. I mean, you all would have at least eaten cinnamon once in your life, either in a food ingredient or normally. Consuming cinnamon has a very good health effect on your body. But now these food manufacturers, in order to make the benefit, to make their profits, they use the cassia bark. So cassia bark is nothing but it's the bark of a tree. So instead of pure cinnamon, because pure cinnamon is it's bit costly, but these guys, they take the bark of this cassia tree and they sell it as a cinnamon. They market it as a cinnamon. So the person who has no knowledge, who does not have proper knowledge, or who cannot, with a single glance recognize, yeah, I mean it's cinnamon or cassia bark. So they fall for the rate. I mean, the cassia bark is sold at cheaper rates. So if you consume it regularly, so it could lead to liver damage and also possibly cancer. So I mean, guys, just be sure what you eat. So this is the major message that you would also be giving when you join as an food safety officer, because eating these foods, without any knowledge of them, it's really dangerous. I mean, cancer is one of the major agent which is caused by these adulterant foods. So make sure whenever you eat next, make sure what all ingredients are present in there, and make sure try to eat homemade food. So moving ahead. So if we move ahead, then the another adulterant that is used is the malachite green. So guys, this malachite green, this is a green color which is used on chilies or bitter gourd or even peas. So what these food vendors they do is for example, if the food is unripe, right? So to make them look ripe and also to give them the proper texture and proper color, so that it attracts the customers, so they add this malachite green. So this is a chemical which is added to such green foods. Not only these, I've just taken the example of these, but be it any green food, right? So they added to chilies, bitter gourd, peas, and I mean any green food. And since malachite green, again, it's a again, it's a chemical compound, right? So this could lead to cancer. The major effect it causes is cancer. So that is why, make sure whenever you get fresh food, wash it at your hand, wash it properly, and then consume such foods and then cook such foods. Otherwise, in long run, this could cause cancer in your body, right? So moving ahead now, guys, we'll talk about the food contaminants. So I think food adulterant things were clear to you. If guys things were clear, please let me know in the comment box. Okay. So guys, if you have any doubt, you can drop me a WhatsApp message after the class. So I mean, these are very basic things, right? Even FSSAI did not ask any question from this topic as well. But yeah, again, they want you to know this, right? Because tomorrow you are gonna join as a food safety officer. You need not to know. I mean, you need to know in detail what are food adulterants, right? So they just want to enhance your knowledge on these topics. That is why FSSAI want you to read such topics. So now we'll talk about food contaminants. So what are food contaminants? So moving to our next slide. So if you see the contaminants, again, this definition is given in the FSSAI Act 2006. So if you see any substance, whether or not added to the food, but which is present in such food as a result of production, manufacturing, processing, preparation, treatment, packing, packaging, transportation, or holding of such food, or as result of environment contamination, and does not include insect fragment, rodent hair, or extraneous matter. So guys, I'll explain you what contaminants are. So contaminants are nothing but these are the harmful compounds which can be, which can occur in the food at the stage of manufacturing or during processing or preparation or packaging. Or they can also, there could also be a result of environmental contamination. So what type of contaminants that can enter into the food, we'll read about them in detail in our next slide. But yeah, I mean, you need to remember this definition. This is very important from the examination point of view. So this can be asked by FSSAI in the exam for 100% sure. And guys, remember, what does not what does not contains the contaminant, I mean, these things, insect fragments, these does not comprise as the contaminants. Insect fragments, rodent hairs, and other extraneous matter, these, if you call these as a contaminant, your answer would be wrong. These does not fall in the category of contaminant. And last year, FSSAI has asked such questions. So what does not mean the contaminant? So they gave these options: insect fragment, rodent hair, extraneous matter, right? So these are the things, I mean, FSSAI can ask in the examination. So make sure you read all these definitions in detail. So I'll also discuss how FSSAI ask the questions from the FSSAI Act. So if you ask me right now, they have just copy pasted the lines from the Act. They just, for example, they say they would ask the question, what is contaminant, and they would just copy paste these lines. I mean, contaminant, something which comes from manufacturing, processing, packaging, storage. You need to be thorough with the Act. That's it. So no problem. You can just watch my videos. So now tomorrow is Saturday and Sunday. So we won't be having class on Sunday, but we'll have our class tomorrow. And guys, make sure you attend Monday's class, because on Monday we'll have a small quiz, a small Q&A session. So I'll ask you a few questions so you can give your answers on that. Multiple choice questions from all the classes that we have covered. So make sure you attend Monday's class, and also be prepared on weekend. Make sure you revise your lectures. Don't waste your time, revise your lectures. And on Monday we are going to have a quiz, right? Yes, and guys, there is no huge difference between the adulterants and contaminants. And if you see, well, let's talk about in detail what contaminants are. Then you will get more clarity on this. So if you see the type of food contaminants, so they majorly fall in two categories. That is metallic contaminants and microbial contaminants. So guys, if you are confused what are adulterants and contaminants, so majorly the adulterants are basically the items which are intentionally or unintentionally added to the food, right? So if you see the contaminants, right, if you see the contaminants, so contaminants, they come purely unintentionally. So we'll see in detail. If you see the metallic contaminants, how they enter into the food, how they find their way to our food, and also microbial contaminants, how they enter into the food. So these are purely the contaminants, they are purely unintentional. No one is adding these contaminants intentionally. They are purely unintentional. But food adulterants, they can be added both intentionally or unintentionally. I hope it's clear now. Food adulterants are added either intentionally or unintentionally, but contaminants are purely, they are the result of unintentional addition, right? So now moving ahead, let's talk about the metallic contaminants. So guys, it's a mistake here. So it would be contaminants, not adulterants. So just ignore it. So now let's talk about the arsenic. So arsenic, if you see, so arsenic is a chemical, right? It's a poisonous chemical. So arsenic is majorly, this chemical is, it's abundantly found in our soil, in our water, in our air, but in small quantities. So arsenic, this contaminants in majorly found in apples, because arsenic is used as a pesticide when in orchards, basically in grapes or in the apple orchards. So arsenic is one of the major pesticide which is used. So this pesticide, when it comes in our food unintentionally, so it could lead to lung cancer or skin cancer or kidney cancer. So these are the major cancers which are associated if we consume arsenic, especially apple. So make sure guys, you consume your apple only after washing it properly with hot water, to avoid such incidents which could be very, very detrimental in long run. So now moving ahead again, it's ignore. So you right, and uh, they used to basically store water in copper, overnight they used to store water in copper utensils, and morning they used to eat. I mean, yeah, copper has a lot of benefits, but when hot food is added to the copper, at the end of the day, ultimately copper is what, it's a metal, right? So if unintentionally, unknowingly, if the food, hot, very hot food is stored, so it, and also right, I mean, there are many acids which are present in our food. So this hot water or acid, it could react with the material, can affect, it could lead to vomiting and diarrhea. So make sure whenever you store food in the copper utensils, either it's cold, or make sure it's not acidic food basically, right? Otherwise this could lead to all detrimental. But yeah, these are the symptoms which you might see: vomiting and diarrhea. So now coming to the next contaminant, that is mercury. So guys, basically it's penetrating into the sea, it's penetrating into the land. The activities that is being carried out, as you know, India is one of the growing economy, booming economy. So industrial sector is playing a major role. Along this, yeah, from industrial sector, the amount of mercury that is leaching into our water body. So now if you consume fish, I mean, nowadays, the fish, there are a lot of studies which prove that when the mercury leaches into the water bodies, so these fish, they consume that mercury, and ultimately when we consume that fish, that mercury enters in our body as well, so it becomes a complete food chain. So this mercury, this comes from industrial waste which is removed or which is thrown out of the industries without properly treating it. So ultimately it's killing the fish, it's disturbing the ocean ecosystem. Not only the ocean ecosystem, it's also entering our food chain. So if you see, they could lead to brain damage. I mean, you can imagine brain damage. If someone's brain is damaged, it's gone. I mean, you are dead for life. Then paralysis, even death in major cases. So mercury is one of the major contaminants which is on rise these days. So make sure whenever you eat fish or whenever you buy fish, buy it from a certified sellers, so that to avoid such, because there are proper certifications these days that it's a mercury free, or other contaminant free. So there are proper certifications, so make sure you buy it from proper certified sellers. So now coming to the next slide. So the next contaminant, since we are doing metallic contaminant, so the another major metallic contaminant is cadmium. So guys, if you see, cadmium is majorly this metal is used in our batteries or the cells that we use every day in our TV remotes, AC remotes, or for other purposes. So cadmium, it's again a very toxic and very dangerous compound. So again, this is entering in our food chain from the manufacturing units. I mean, the manufacturing units or the industrial units who are using this cadmium, they are not releasing the waste from their industry after treating it properly. So this cadmium, through that waste, it finds its way to the soil. It leaches into again the water bodies, or other estuaries. So I mean, it's destroying the complete ecosystem. So now, if you see, these are majorly found in all kind of food. Cadmium can be present in all kind of food. I mean, be it vegetables, be it your fruits, or I mean anything. So yeah, I mean, yeah, the major disease, ouch disease. So this disease, guys, this word, this cadmium disease, it was first of all found in Japan. So Japan reported this. There's a Japanese name for this term, ouch disease. So there's a Japanese name. So this disease, what it does is, it could lead to kidney cancer or osteopenia. So your bones, they become fragile, osteopenia, and also it could lead to kidney cancer. So guys, these days, I mean, eating food has become a task. Eating right food, eating fresh food, eating food free of adulterants, eating food free of contaminants. And I mean, the common person, like every day the life is very fast, we hardly pay any attention. But I am sure, since you guys are preparing for the food safety officer exam, so now when you after once you have completed the topic, right, once you have completed this full course, you will be a changed person again. So make sure you bring this change in others as well, your friends, your family. So pass on these messages to everyone. These are the basic things. And also, when you become a FSSAI officer, make sure you pass these messages to the public very strongly, because normally public is not aware about these things. So moving ahead, I hope guys things are clear till here. Please give me thumbs up if things are clear. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you for confirming. So now moving ahead. So guys, those were so after a week, I feel will foodborne pathogens and food microbial disease. So we'll talk about microbes in that topic in detail, right? So for the scope of this chapter, I mean, you need not to go into depth. Also, guys, one more thing. Once you finish the chapters, once you complete the whole syllabus, you will see the topics are overlapping. I mean, one topic is related to other. And also, if you see, there are many topics which just overlap. I mean, you are also reading few things in this topic, you are reading few things in another topic, and things are common. So once we are done with the lectures, once we finish the syllabus, you yourself is will notice this. So moving ahead, so now we'll talk about microbial contaminants in food. So if you see Bacillus cereus, so this is one of the microorganisms which can be found in the food. So this is specially found in cereal products or custards or pudding or sauce. So these are basically, these microbes, how they enter. As I said, they enter unintentionally. For example, either the food is not washed properly, or the food is kept in unhygienic conditions, or the person who is handling the food, he is not hygienic, he is not following the hygienic practices. So these microbes, they pass basically from such sources, right? So make sure whenever you eat from any restaurant, make sure their kitchen is hygienic and clean, and they are following the FSSAI standards, and they have FSSAI license. That is very mandatory to save yourself from such microbial contaminations. So now if you see Bacillus cereus, this although its name is serious, but the detrimental health effect it has, those are not very serious. If you see, it just causes nausea, vomiting, or your stomach ache, or diarrhea, loose motions. Yeah, that's it. But I mean, yeah, why to fall for such thing? Just make sure you eat from proper restaurants. Make sure the food, the cooks who prepare food, they are following proper hygienic practices. So that is what your duty would be. I mean, when you join food safety officer, so you would be going to the restaurants, you would be visiting the restaurants every day, manufacturing units every day. So you have to make sure that the premises are in proper condition, the units where food is being manufactured, the kitchen where food is manufactured, they are in proper condition, hygienic condition. The workers who are working there, they are following the FSSAI guideline or proper hygiene. So we'll learn about these guidelines in another topics, because FSSAI has given clear guidelines how the food manufacturers, or the how the food, the practices that food, uh, the guys who prepared food, the cooks who prepared food, what guidelines they must follow. So we'll do that in detail once we reach those topics. So now moving ahead. So the next class of contaminants is, that is Clostridium perfringens. So this, if you see, so these are majorly these microbes. These are majorly found in milk, if the milk is improperly processed, or meat. So majorly dairy products and the meat products. So if you see, again, they causes just nausea, abdominal pain, and diarrhea. So guys, just for your knowledge, FSSAI asked about these microbes in their mains exam last year. In pre, there was just a single question, if I'm not wrong, but 15 marks or 10 marks question was asked by FSSAI in their mains exam last year. But yeah, I mean, last year the exam was written exam, but this time it would be objective. So again, you have to just give a CBT test, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, I mean, this topic is important, but from mains point of view, if you see. And also, we are going to cover it in detail, as I said, in the topics microbial spoilage and foodborne pathogen. So that would make sense when we talk that in detail in that topic, right? Yes. So now moving ahead. So the another contaminant is Salmonella species. So Salmonella, I mean, guys, Salmonella is very common. It's very common microbe which can be found even on your hands. I mean, on the table that you are sitting, on the laptop that you are using, or the mobile that you are using, because Salmonella is very common. And the major food that this contaminant is found in meat, or the raw vegetables, salads, eggs. So these are the major food sources where this Salmonella can occur, right? So make sure whenever you eat raw food, wash it properly, wash it with hot water, and then consume such foods. So the health effect, if you see, not the dangerous ones, but normal effects it has. That is salmonellosis, that is normal fever and chills. If you are contaminated, if you eat food contaminated with such contaminants, so you would have just only fever and chills. Not to worry here, but yeah, I mean, why to get to that stage, right? Just avoid eating, or make sure whenever you eat such food, wash it properly. So guys, that was all about the microbes. So now there's another class of fungus which could be possibly found in our food. So that is aflatoxins. So aflatoxins are nothing but these are the uh, fungus which can be majorly found in groundnuts, or there are other foods on which can be found, but majorly it's found in groundnuts, aflatoxins. So aflatoxins, these are the fungus. So they contaminate groundnuts. So they go to liver cancer again. Make sure whenever you eat groundnuts, uh, properly it should be baked, or the nuts could have a detrimental effect. In serious cases, this could lead to liver cancer. Right? I hope, guys, things are clear till here. I hope things are clear. Yes, last year 15 marks question was found. Yes, yeah, I mean, these are fungal toxins. So last time 15 marks question was asked from contaminants in mains exam, but that was in mains. So to give you the complete knowledge which makes you even mains ready, right? So I think, guys, yeah, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the lecture. So I'll share these videos with you. So these are very, very basic topics, just an overview. So so again, we'll have another class tomorrow. So make sure to join tomorrow. On Sunday, guys, we won't be having any class. Sunday would be off. And on Monday, be ready. Be ready with the topics that we read in this complete whole week. So there's going to be a test, at least, like I would be asking around 10 to 20 questions from you guys. So make sure you read properly. Right? So we'll meet tomorrow again, guys. If you have any query, if you have any doubt, you can WhatsApp me. So I'll get back to you. And also I'll share the DART book with you by FSSAI. So you can just download it and perform those experiments in your house. So you will get to know the better understanding of what adulterants are. Right? So thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Well, tomorrow. Take care. See you. Good night.